I want to look at the amount of flashes.
I'm ready. What do we got? Where are you at, Derek? Oh my gosh, that's such a nice skin. Is that a limited edition skin too?
Who stays alive until BDD gets on top of him, but the stalling here is a big deal. And
all right, I'm right here.
When it comes to kills here for T1, and with that objective going their way, so many summoners were blown there for KT.
And I think the big thing that I'm looking at is the effectiveness of this Tom Kench.
This is
a moment
KDA?
where across
Oh, wow.
the series, it's felt like
Oh, I see it.
Peter, Dogdom have been
Oh, is that the
almost doing
KDA
Dogdom
skin?
Getting caught out, but you saw there the disconnect. Peter flashes in to try to devour
Wow.
Dogdom. Dogdom flashes over the wall. They can't get the angle, and those moments of
That's cool.
miscoordination are effortless for T1 to punish. And this is something they cannot afford because they're already falling behind in terms of map pressure. Even if they have a kill advantage, they're behind in gold. Single mistakes like that could cost them everything.
And I'm looking at Owner's smite button.
Oh yeah.
Inspect that thing. This guy is cold.
You also
as
got it from
hell,
Skin
man.
Shard. Those are cool. The
Keeps
ones I
on
got from
getting
Skin
these
Shards, I don't
dragons,
even play
started
those
out the game
champions
with
in
a
my
flash
little
to
loot
go
thing.
steal it. Can he do one more? Does he have one more in him?
And started off the game without a flash.
Let me see if I can
to speak
steal
of.
the
When it comes
red.
off cooldown, he
If I
flashes
can get
to steal
lucky
it
on
again.
this one.
This is the member that we've heralded on this T1 lineup as the most consistent point. Being clutch around these objectives is crucial because now you see the runway, you see the path to
Looks
victory.
like
the
I'm
Otacon,
gonna
the
attempt
soul,
to
stand
steal
in
it.
front of T1.
In 2013, OGN Summer, those telecom wars go in the distance. Will we go the distance here on the
Thank you.
World Final stage?
If we start a Twitter poll, can we ask for Game 5 blind pick?
I'm down.
It's a throwback.
Let's get double Zeds, double Shens back in
Fearless
there.
Game 5 blind pick.
Run it back.
We could do that, right? It's fine.
We have that authority, I'm sure.
Yeah, certainly. As
Absolutely not, for anyone concerned.
5 flashes have been blown by KT, and that does mean that I expect T1 to maintain prio in these lanes, because not having flash means that you're much more susceptible to a Nocturne showing up and taking your lunch money as owner. We've seen him and Gumayushi often be the deciding factor together, as KT, they might just full send in on Otacon, at least to get the TP out of Doran.
Understand the gamble that KT are in because T1 are collapsing, and in the meantime, waves are being deleted. It's costing KT hundreds of gold just to be here. And if T1 take the fight, it might just cost them the game.
Perfect
KT
has
sticking
ult.
around.
We
Right
took
now,
his-
to get them
we
away.
took the jungle.
The ulti not stacked up. Perfect going forward just a little bit longer. The Death Realm to come out. Owner going to respond with an ulti of his own, turning off the lights on this team fight between both lineups. Gumayushi and Perfect in the Death Realm, and Guma takes those. T1 focusing on the objective. Cleanse used from Keria. Heal on the way. Faker finding a bit more damage. BDD isolated. Hostile takeover going to connect onto BDD. It won't have much effect as Cuz tries to chase Faker out. But Dogdam, he might take Keria. But it's T1 taking the Otacon. Guma securing the objective.
And there it is, the second smite for T1 strikes again as Otacon goes their way.
Oh man, that was a tense one. You can tell the call from KT, I think at the beginning, is have Mordekaiser just run at Owner and try and ult Owner. But look at Perfect getting kited in. Nivea does so much work keeping him at bay. Keria as well, trying to help, trying to delay. And then as the ult goes down there, they kite it back out. Otacon resetting. They put so many spears into this Otacon.
And I cannot think of a worse champion to pull into Death Realm 1v1 than a Kalista that has been accelerated. Unfortunate
So far, so
from
good.
the side of KT.
Yeah.
You see that they have the damage, that they have the items. They just cannot put it where it counts. And ultimately, that just means that T1 are even further ahead. 23-9, the score in terms of the petals. 1,000 gold advantage and 20 seconds until T1 are set up to take the soul.
It's going to have to be a miraculous team fight here from KT, as they are second to the objective. And if this soul goes over, barring an Elder flip, T1's got to be feeling real good.
Doran isolated for a moment. The miasma just a little bit late as Faker's off to the side. Good damage onto Perfect to kick things off. Cuz still eating a bit of damage. The poke from T1, a bit tough to deal with. You can see the pierce that lands onto Dogdom, taking that chunk of health. Flash in, full committal to the fight. Pillar to isolate Owner, redemption to heal Faker right back up. That's almost every single cooldown burn. It's on BDD to try to turn it back, but it's a split fight. T1 coming from multiple sides, collapsing as Owner moves in on top of Perfect. Dorn has been isolated in the Death Realm, but he'll manage to make it over. Flashback, absolutely jukes him. And now it's Perfect caught in a 1v1 with Faker right as he comes out. He is stunned, but he won't be taken down. All of T1 in the pit. The spears stacked, smites available.
Hang on, Derek. Just bait him. Just bait him. We got him. We got him.
And the Anivia.
The fight just continues to go. 6K getting lower. Dogdom trying to get a bit of poke. Hostile takeover connecting. They don't have a cleanse.
Good job.
Peter is good, but it might not matter. Cuz continuing to move in. BDD waiting over the wall. The ulti is there, but they don't need to face him yet. The turn on to Faker isn't enough. 3K. Cuz in the pit. At the end of the day, it does not matter because it is Doran to get the soul. KT might be able to get the fight, but there's too many members of T1 standing. Ocean Soul to T1 as everybody on KT falls.
And I am starting to hear some silver scrapes in my telecom war.
Oh my God, T1 stand up, get the Ocean Soul, and they have made every person in this stadium stand up as well. Doctum gets hit with the carrier ultimate immediately. Peter trying to bail him out. They're both so low, they get pushed out. Then Doran blocking the Caitlyn ultimate, protecting Owner here as they try and kite back into the pit. Meanwhile, on the top side, BDD was running straight at them. Immediately gets deleted there by Carrier and Faker on the other side.
And it's
Good
Guma
stuff. How are you doing up there, Derek?
Fight. And the fact that Faker, even though BDD got his ultimate off, hit him with
Dragon's
the stun.
up. Oh, shoot.
So he didn't actually get to do the damage that he needed to, as the double fake out from Doran. And the MasterCard prize at the moment of the game, Ocean Soul secured for T1.
Plus, in the lead up to that fight, Faker was kiting so well with the Anivia, and there was a moment where the Mordekaiser was trying to pull him in, but the Trundle Pillar also bumped him out as well. I mean, the annoyance of the late game Anivia, the kiting here that he's able to pull off, really created so much space.
And T1 seemed to
I'm gonna see if I can get lucky with
understand
this dragon.
their strengths in comparison to KT's weaknesses. We've mentioned it countless times. We saw it in draft, and we've seen it be the bane of KT this entire game. They do not have good tools to force picks. So T1 get to stay in these fights at 20% health, 30% health, because once they see that pillar go down, they know there's no way anyone else is getting on top of them in the back line. Now, Soul in their favor, Flowers in their favor, 5K gold lead, and they're set up to take the first Baron of the game.
And it's again costly when it comes to summoners for KT. And T1, call the T1 Baron. Gold lead's there, Ocean Soul is theirs. And KT, we'll see if they can make something happen.
Owner and T1 have secured every single objective this game. Cuz moving in, but zoned away by the Storm from the side of the team. Berserk now onto Cuz, has to ulti. Owner using an ulti of his own just to try and disengage. Doran, meanwhile, in the mid lane, happy to just continue fighting. Perfect going into the back line.
Good stuff,
Looking to
good
get
stuff.
taken down by Faker. He's in the death row, but Faker's happy with the 1v1. Just in time, he gets out, and Doran is there to seal the deal on the kill. KT desperate to get anything. They've already lost their top laner. The game rapidly slipping away.
They're trying their best to not let this game go to 5 as Doran still searching.
No flash for BDD, that crucial piece of CC and exhaust there. But Faker just waiting in the darkness. Guma stacking up the spears, the wall to zone KT away. Flash not there for Cuz either. BDD off on the side is going to use the ultimate. W in from Peter does absolutely nothing. T1, they see a vulnerable opponent. They know what they can do as they start to rip them to shreds.
Oh, shoot. Derek, how you doing up there?
He's not going to take a Baron. T1 reminds
I'm going to try to... You know what, Derek, I'm coming in. I got my ult. We're going to push him towards our tower.
They can do
We're just going to, like, gank him.
Final.
And T1 ensure that we are going the distance. We are getting our full value out of this series as KT just cannot close
we got away.
the gap to T1's backline.
The turn off of Baron to grab the kills, and now they will secure the objective. Here's another look at it. So Doran had just body slammed at BDD, and BDD used Cassiopeia ultimate. The rest of them can then chase through the river here. As you see, even with the Tomkins trying to eat him up, Noctem still has nowhere to go.
The KT feel forced into trying to contest, know that if Baron goes down, game is as good as lost. And Peter, it's not an enviable job. You're trying to play engage Kench, and I've seen a single man do that well, and he's on the opposite side of the rift. We knew it was a gamble, and that plus the blind Cassio, I think, really getting punished so nicely by T1 in this game.
Yeah, and the top lane difference as well. The Mordekaiser has not found a lot of value. He's getting kited a lot, and hasn't had very high value ultimates either. So we'll see as we progress in this series, if we progress, because T1 still have not done it yet. They've got the Dragon Soul and a 9,000 gold lead though, so they definitely should be able to.
20 pedal lead, they have Krubs. We haven't taken a turret yet, Kobe.
They got more items, they got more money. Yeah. It's looking like a hard road for the side of KT. And now
but it's good news for us.
when a comeback happens, if KT can make it happen, then it's something to be considered. Maybe a miracle flash, but it will take that miracle. And for KT, it's so important not to lose sight of the bigger picture. This is a game you could afford to lose because of what you won earlier. It might come down to a best of one, but you need to be at your best form for that matchup because this game is looking done and dusted. Owner pushing in the mid lane. KT can't really afford to split as that tower falls. The threat of T1 diving into their backline, a very real threat.
BDD found a big play on his Yone in game 1 against Gen G to find a miraculous comeback, but this game feels so much more dire. About 35 seconds till we see that Elder come up. I don't even know if T1 really wants to wait for it. With 2 inhibitors, so they can just decide.
I'm gonna wait till 500 real quick so I can get
pressure
Nashers.
on them.
Owner waiting, hoping to catch out a member of KT, over eager, knowing how important it is for them to stop the Soul from going down. 20 seconds, a TP into the mid lane. Maybe going to catch out Gumayushi here. But it's perfect. Again, this is the problem. No matter who TP's in, it's so effortless for T1 to just walk away.
Yeah, perfect. Guma is 2 levels up on the top laner.
Cuz caught out, isolated, immediate subjugate to try and stay standing, forced to flash back. BDD in the darkness! 3-man! But it's Doran to try to turn it right back. The ulti is decent. Carry wants to turn it back with the hostile takeover. The gold deficit is just too massive. Even a miracle, even an incredible angle was not enough in the face of this T1 lineup. The triple, the quadra, T1 bringing us to silver scrapes.
Guma lives the engage, and T1 live in the grand finals.
And the telecom war has never been this insane. World's Finals, Game 5.
A back and forth, absolute dominance in Game 4, though. The story for T1 as we get ready for Game 5. Let's send it back over to the analyst desk.
They're on it again, Dracos. That's what's happening. I cannot believe what's happening in front of my eyes. The fact that at every single objective, they look like they could lose the game, but somehow they secure it and somehow they stay ahead despite everything KT threw at them.
I can absolutely believe it because I've seen this happen at Worlds several times and I've seen it happen to my team so many times back in the LCK and in OGN Champions. I don't think it was louder in this building than when Faker absolutely popped off on Anivia and they showed the damage numbers at 8,568. This entire place was
no friggin' way!
We see Coma there, he's deep in thought. He of course
shoot!
2017 is something I regret, right? Let's look at this.
Oh,
I mean, the players have got to stay locked in. We see them reviewing
amazing.
in that moment, and here is one of those critical plays. Carrier pops out
Very
of the brush,
nice.
catches Docdom, and even with Peter there to save him initially, that is kind of the fight, it felt like, decided in a lot of ways.
It was so many tense fights that T1 just kept getting the better of KT in. So many of these moments, if they just swung slightly the way of KT, maybe things could have been different. But under this situation, to be down against KT, who's at match point, T1 are just too good.
It's crazy.
At playing from this pressure.
Yeah, and I think the big thing for me that happened in this early game is that whenever T1 looked like they were in a bad spot, even when KT was coming out ahead in the fight, T1 had all
my
of
best
the
stay alive.
objectives. Yeah, they were chilling until their Anivia just comes online and destroys absolutely everyone. And again, I cannot understate how strong of a pick Anivia was for Faker in this draft against what KT had drafted.
It was very, very good. I asked for like a supercut of all the objectives just because we talked so much about Guma making kind of those mistakes in the game before that, right? And how at this level that does happen. But how does this happen every single time? Is that plot armor?
I mean, it's kind of crazy. It just feels like they're able to step up in these big moments.
That is how
just
we
barely
do it!
Get it off. It was at 6:19. Owner flashes
Oh
in.
my
Smite steals it away.
goodness!
They had so many opportunities where you think, okay, they're finally going to get it. Owner gets in again and steals it. The Soul fight was actually Dorian securing it, where Dorian went off in this next fight, Betty.
It was really important for certain players to step up, and given that this series has been the Cuz show, Owner couldn't have picked a better time
6-0!
to show up in this
We're
series.
finally hitting
Fantastic
0
play
deaths
around
in
the
the
objectives,
game.
and
We're
Dorian,
doing
as you were
so
saying,
good,
as well,
guys.
his scoreline was not
We're
impressive,
doing
but the
so
impact
good.
that he had in so
Don't know
many
when I
of these
die.
team fights, like it was truly phenomenal.
It was, and I have to shout out BDD as well, right? Because he gets, just like on the Syndra, right? He gets a lot of 4-man stuns. He gets in there with the Casio. He can turn the fight, but you just see at some point that with all the objectives that T1 had and the fact that they were up on the forefront, right? And they have the confidence makes that they just run this one home.
Absolutely, and I mean, I think they're going to be regretting giving that man a Nivea.
Yeah.
Because Faker, it seemed like he played way better than he did last time on the pick, but also, we were talking about it in draft, Eddie and I were talking through, hey, if you're going to blind Casio, you really do need to ban the Anivia. Instead, they elected to take away the Galio and the Hwei, which are comfort picks for Faker. With Faker, there's always going to be something up, but man, Anivia was crazy in this game.
And while we look at the faces of T1, focused, calm, getting ready for the next game, we know that this is a situation where they've been in multiple times before, even just last year against BLG. For KT, I can't imagine the pressure that they must feel, the stress, given that you could be a single game away from lifting a World's Trophy, or
gonna push this top tower
done and dusted just like
real
that.
quick. You're smurfing and smurfing.
Wait,
Fireplace W
it's coming in 30 minutes.
Oh!
And we heard interviews from both of the bot laners from T1 where they're talking about the advantage that they have is the experience. They have been here before. Carrie said, I wanted it too much. I was dying to get it. I think KT is going to be as well.
Yes, they are absolutely dying to get it. We'll get some time to talk on the other end of the break about but also about the chances of KT. We'll be right back before Game 5.
The fight just continues to go. 6K getting lower. Duckdom trying to get a bit of poke. Hops will take over connecting. Have a cleanse. Devour from Peter is good, but it might not matter. Cuz continuing to move in. BDD waiting over the wall. The ulti is there, but they don't need to face him yet. The turn on to Faker. Is it enough? 3K.
You could go for zones.
In the pit. At the end of the day, it does not matter because it is Doran to get the soul. KT might be able to get the fight, but there's too many members of T1 standing. Ocean Soul to T1 as everybody on KT fall.
Gotta be careful. Wait, is that dragon coming up? In 2 minutes. We gotta get the Infernal Drake. We cannot lose that one. Good job on JG. Thank you, thank you. See you too. Oh no, I got stunned. Darius, no! Keep careful! Be careful! No! Darius, be careful! Oh gosh, oh gosh, oh gosh, oh gosh. Run! Get out of there! Hang in there! Engage, engage, engage! They're going for dragon! They're going for dragon! Oh, I just blew my smite. Engage! Oh, watch for the poison. Oh, jeez. Fizz, where you at?
How could it end any other way than a Game 5 in this telecom war for the ages between KT and T1 with their eyes set on the Summoners Cup? We have been blessed with the series so far, but now comes, Azale, the most important game of KT's career.
Absolutely. I mean, you can really say for a lot of these players, their entire life has built to this one moment. There's so much pressure on being able to perform in this moment. This is one of those things where you are going to be thinking about this as I said before, the best moment of your life or the worst moment of your life. And it all comes down to how you perform in this next game.
And that's why I really did like what BDD said to Cuz, right? Where he was like, it's just one more match. That's what it has to be for them. They have to be able to shrug off the pressure and play like it's just one more match, as we see their friendship going back all the way to 2017 Longzhou Gaming when they first started playing together. And the other person who's been here is Score. I don't know if that was necessarily the worst day of his life. Maybe it was the 2 HP Baron fiasco against Rox Tigers. But as the coach of this KT roster, I think they should also be looking to him, who was on the 2018 team.
I mean, he's quoted this moment personally versus IG, who would go on to win the cup, as where they left it all on the Rift and they didn't do enough. And that's what we saw that he tried to instill into this roster. But again, this is when all the floodlights are on, right? This is when you've had time to think about it. And you know it's only one game. Only the best survive that.
And if you want to look at some history, across the 9 full 5 games that these two organizations have had, it's 6 to T1 in Game 5s and 3 to KT. The odds favor T1, as has been their history. But again, every time we have to mention that it is the magic of Worlds that we love to watch. And on this day, history will be made, whether it is the 3-peat for T1 or whether it is KT who is able to upset the dominant giants.
And BDD, who was in our featured matchup today versus Faker, how could he not be? And we started off the show by talking about the eras from
yes!
Faker, right? And we have here his rookie era. I also want to say we have the actual final. But the two that are most important currently are these two, Azale and Fetty. Why?
Yeah, I mean, it's the question of, is it that heartbreaking moment for Faker, being distraught after having lost the finals, he thought he was going to be able to take down. To me, this defined him because it showed how much of a competitor he is. Even though he had won so many world championships, you still got this kind of a reaction from him when he finally fell.
But the beauty of modern day Faker is that not only has he found a way to... I mean, people will argue that back in 2015, 2016, this was his prime. But this feels like T1's prime, the era of T1. And today we could witness him doing what he couldn't do in the past with these players, marking his mark on history once again.
Do you see it? The little Easter egg, it has 6 stars on the bottom for if
Might win 2 straight. I hope so.
Let's just stand still with this for a second, right? When you talk about KT being almost at the top of the mountain and just needing to bring it home, Faker is on the other side.
Good stuff.
Often when we talk about Faker, we're not mentioning all the rest, but it's also so important for them, and they've done it 2 times before. But who hasn't, Azale?
Doran has not done it. He is not a world champion. As I said at the start of the day, I feel like his legacy is the most impacted out of anyone on T1 by far. If he wins here, he can push aside all this narratives about him being an international choker, about him not being able to rise to the moment. And if he loses, I think people are still going to be casting aspersions on just how good he has been.
Singe is up
because
top.
He has been fantastic in this series. We talked about it in the Gragas game. We've talked about it in this series, how much of an impact that he has consistently tried to have. And I think he deserves such a massive shout out.
Oh my God. Imagine walking back on stage and seeing this, Emily, KT, looking at the cup thinking, it's now or never.
Yeah, as we see everyone walking back on stage, both teams look pretty relaxed. That's good, right? Good sign. But that man, Doran, I think encapsulates what has made both of these teams, has brought them here, right? Because it's not that they haven't made mistakes. Doran, I feel like, has even made mistakes in this series, but then has overcome them to have fantastic plays, helping bring this to a Game 5.
And I mean, we talk so much about T1 and rising to the occasion, but we also have to give that credit to KT in this series, because I think so many teams would fall apart with the amount of pressure that has been put on them when things have gone wrong. But KT has consistently played towards their rain conditions, played confidently, even down 12K in a soul. You see BDD flashing over the wall on Cassio, looking for that moment. And they have not shied away from the bright lights of the World Finals. I think we're going to be in for an incredible Game 5.
KT
Great job,
are
Darich.
the almost men of the LCK. They've almost had their dynasties. They've almost been the best team in the world, but they've never been able to prove it. Today, they've demonstrated that they, at the very least, stand shoulder to shoulder with the greatest that we have in our esports, but they can do what KT have never been able to do before. And to do it against T1 would be incredible.
Would be incredible, and is also the most difficult task that can be laid upon your shoulders if you are KT. Not just for the fans that maybe have become a fan of them during this tournament because of what they've shown, but so many, like the one here next to me and the one I can see there, Lore, who have followed this team for so long, for so many years, for so many heartbreaks, for reverse sweeps. You can undo it all for all of those fans. But on the other side stands T1 and stands Faker. This isn't their first rodeo. They've done this a couple of times already. And in Game 5s, they know exactly what it takes to win that Summoners Cup.
Good
Will it
stuff.
be BDD with his first after a life of longing for the Summoners Cup? Or will it be Faker's 6th trophy? Back to you.
A damn good question, and it's important to remember that this World Final is unique. It is the first World Final with Fearless Draft. This might be the hardest Game 5 we've ever seen. There's never been a World Final with more emphasis on diverse champion pools, on mastery, on adaptability. You cannot fall back on meta staples or comfort picks. This is where you have to put everything on the table as we get ready for Game 5 pick and bans.
This is also where you could maybe see teams
I'm going for
take
Elder
big
Dragon.
gambles. We've seen teams try to throw off with KT picking blue side despite being in Game 5 of Fearless. Maybe this is the game where we leave open things like the Azir, which have basically been
do that.
perma.
Do not.
Well, I mean, I think KT should. They're on blue side.
You got too excited
wanted.
about Game 5 blind pick. No, certain things still have to be banned as we enter
We'll
picks and
see.
bans, powered by Omen
Okay,
and
never
Good
Hyper.
game.
Draven banned away, the Bard banned away, Azir, no surprise to follow. 40 champions
Holy
off
moly.
the board, 6 more in this first phase.
I love the discussion, the topic of Fearless, because we have seen people
Very
who are
nice.
literally first-timing champions on
Very
stage
nice.
here, asking their coach, asking Faker, so what is the clear? What do the abilities do on the champion?
Come
So
by
Game
the
5
stream
here,
sometime.
World
You are
Grand
all great
Finals,
players.
elimination, obviously.
That was
on
awesome,
the
guys.
line for each.
And so often in domestic leagues, Game 5 of Fearless has meant scaling.
I
Champions
need to
like
view
Horn
the
rising to the
advanced
forefront, knowing that it can
details.
come down to that backline hyper carry, making all the difference. So KT wisely eliminated a third ban
did really
targeted at
good.
BDD. He's not allowed to play a single one of these champions, but what else does he have left in the pool?
Akali,
got
Aurora,
16K
LeBlanc.
gold.
Okay, Ziggs
Okay.
is
Wow.
flexible. That could be a flex
Neutral
pick,
minions
but
killed
we assume it's knocked off.
143.
Most likely going to
Wow.
duck down here. Makes me wonder whether we're going to see some Maokai 80 or Ivern 80 mid shenanigans here from KT.
That was awesome.
Because normally what I'd be thinking about is BDD's Zoe. As